Hello guys, welcome to the biology lesson. In today's biology lesson, we will be looking at the lymphatic system. So it is a continuation from the previous lesson where we looked at blood. So in today's lesson, we'll be looking at the lymphatic system. So without wasting much of your time, let's go straight into today's lesson. So what you should know guys is that the lymphatic system is a transport system which drains fluid called lymph from the body organs into the bloodstream and makes the defense system of the body. So what we are saying here is that this lymphatic system actually is a system or a transport system which drains or transports a fluid called lymph from body organs or tissues into the blood stream and makes the defense system of the body. Okay, so now let's look at the structure of the lymphatic system. Okay, now we are looking at the structure of the lymphatic system. Okay, so here what you should know guys is that the lymphatic system is made up of the following parts, namely lymph. So what is lymph? We are saying it is a fluid which contains glycerol, fatty acids, white blood cells, antibodies, and antitoxins. Then two lymphatic vessels. So what are lymphatic vessels? So lymphatic vessels consist of lymphatic capillaries, lymphatic vessels, lymphatic trunk, and then lymphatic ducts. Then also three lymphatic organs. Okay, so what are lymphatic organs? We are saying the lymphatic organs consist of a thymus, lymph nodes, and the spleen. Okay, so these are the structures or the parts which makes up the lymphatic system. Now let me show the structure of the lymphatic system. Okay, so this is the structure of the lymphatic system. Now, so we said it contains the fluid which moves here, the fluid called the lymph. Then also it contains what we talked about, the lymphatic vessels. Then we talked about the spleen. We talked about the thymus here. We talked about lymph nodes. So there are so many lymph nodes. Here we have the inguinal lymph nodes. Then here we have the right lymphatic duct. Okay, here then we have auxiliary lymph nodes. In the armpits. Then we have cervical lymph nodes here in the neck. And also there are also these other organs, the palatine, tonsil. Okay, then we have the thorax duct and also the right lymphatic duct. Okay, so mainly these are the main parts of the lymphatic system that you need to study, because this diagram is very important. It comes in the exam, so you need to actually memorize it. All right, so now let's look at how the lymphatic system work. Okay, this is very important because we said earlier on in the introduction that the lymphatic system is a transport system that drains a fluid called lymph from body organs or tissues into the blood system, and we said it also makes the defense system of the body. Now, how does the lymphatic system work? So we are looking at how the lymphatic system works. So basically this is a diagram which is going to help us understand how the lymphatic system work. Okay, so here the first thing that you must understand here is that lymphatic capillaries that we talked about earlier on collect lymph from the body tissues to lymphatic vessels. Okay, so blood capillaries, like in this diagram which we have here. You must understand it very well. We have the heart, and then this blood on the left side of the heart, it is red. It contains oxygenated blood. Then we have the left side, right side of the heart. This blood here is blue in color, meaning it contains deoxygenated blood. So meaning when blood from the heart carrying oxygen and nutrients comes into the body tissues. These are the body tissues there where nutrients diffuse into tissues such as the cells, the organs, so that oxygen and the nutrients are used. So when they reach here, actually these are arterial systems. So these are arteries. So arteries are these are vessels from the heart that take some blood to the body parts. So these, when they reach the organs, they actually divide into small tubes known as blood capillaries. Now as they reach here, now what happens is that the nutrients and oxygen moves out of these blood capillaries and then comes into tissue here, or body cells here, so that um, those nutrients and oxygen can go into cells, and then used products such as carbon dioxide and other things can move out of the um, cells into the capillaries. Now what happens here as they move out, there are also some things as they move out, they join the capillaries and gets back to the heart. Now instead of using this route, some of them actually do not use this route. I mean this route here. They use this route, which is the lymphatic system here. So here at the end here, they are what we are calling lymph or lymphatic capillaries. So that's why we are saying lymphatic capillaries collect lymph from the body tissues to lymphatic vessels. So that fluid we talked about, which contains glycerol, it contains white blood cells, and it contains other things that we mentioned, collects here. Okay, so via the lymphatic capillary. That's why we are saying lymphatic capillaries collect lymph from the body tissue to lymphatic vessels. So from here now, these are small tubes called the lymphatic capillaries. Then it takes to these bigger ones here, which are called lymphatic vessels here. Okay, then we are saying lymphatic vessels transport lymph from lymphatic capillaries to lymph nodes. So these now are lymphatic blood vessels. They will transport that lymph from this capillary into these parts here called the lymph nodes here. Okay, so these are lymph nodes. Okay, so now we are saying again here that lymph nodes filters lymph by destroying viruses and bacteria from body tissues. So meaning here that when this lymph reaches here, it is filtered off any bacteria that it may be carrying from the body tissues. Okay, so those bacteria are filtered by destroying them. Okay, that's what these lymph nodes do. Okay, then lymph from lymph nodes is transported to the heart through the lymphatic tract, then the lymphatic duct, and then finally into the subclavian vein at the heart. So from here, this is still the lymphatic. It can still enter another lymph node. Then from the lymph node, now it goes into this is the lymphatic tract. Even this one is a lymphatic tract. So this lymphatic tract join to form the lymphatic duct or lymph duct. So this one will join here where the subclavian is, and then it enters the blood stream. Okay, so this is why we are saying lymph from lymph nodes is transported to the heart through the lymphatic tract, then lymphatic duct, and then finally into the subclavian vein at the heart here. Okay, then that's how it works. Then in summary now, we are now looking at summary of the distribution and the structure of lymphatic vessels. Okay, now the structure and distribution. So if you start with lymphatic capillaries like here, next you need to find the lymphatic collecting vessels. Okay, so the bigger one are lymphatic collecting vessels, which are still here. Then from here you find the lymph nodes, lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes. Then from lymph nodes you now continue like here the way it is. These are other lymphatic collecting vessels. From here, like when it goes to lymphatic collecting vessels, here we have been shown another leaf, but the fact that if this is a lymphatic collecting vessel, even in this one it is the one. Now from this lymphatic vessel it goes to this one here, which is the lymphatic trunk. So like this one here and this one here, these are lymphatic trunks. Okay, then from the lymphatic trunks now it goes to the lymphatic ducts. These are lymphatic ducts. Then from the lymphatic ducts it goes now into right and left subclavian veins, which some of them you are going to see very shortly. Okay, now the function, let's look at functions of the parts of the lymphatic system. Those parts of the lymphatic system which we talked about, the lymphatic capillaries, we talked about the lymph nodes, the spleen, the thymus. Now let's look at their functions. Okay, so now we are looking at the lymphatic capillaries. What are their functions? We are saying these are closed-ended lobes, okay, tubes located in most blood capillary networks. So these are closely what? They are closed-ended lobes. So meaning at their end they are closed, and they are located where? In most blood capillary networks. Now, an example of lymphatic capillaries is the lacteal found in the small intestine. So, as we look at the digestion, you find that in the alveoli of the small intestine, there is actually a blood vessel called lacteal, which collects glycerol and fatty acids from the stomach, takes it into the heart so that it adds it into the blood for transportation into all parts of the body. So that is one example of a lymphatic capillary, which is a lacteal. You have to know this. So we are saying just like veins, these lymphatic capillaries here contain valves which prevent backflow of lymph. Okay, so these also prevents backflow of lymph, meaning this lymph, which is a fluid as we alluded to earlier on, has just to move in one direction. Okay, so it's not supposed to flow back, and because of that, the lymphatic capillaries contain valves which prevents backflow of the lymph. Then we are saying that the function of the lymphatic capillaries is to collect lymph from body tissues to the blood stream. Okay, so these collects body collect tissue, collect the lymph from body tissues to the bloodstream, or rather to the collecting or to the lymphatic collecting vessels. Okay, next we look at the lymphatic vessels. Okay, so now we are saying lymphatic vessels are vessels which are formed when the lymphatic capillaries join together and they resemble small veins. Okay, so they also contain valves to prevent backflow of lymph. So this also contains valve to prevent backflow of lymph. And what are they? They are vessels which are formed when these lymphatic capillaries join together. Okay, so let's push this one up. So we are saying the function of the lymphatic vessels is to transport lymph from lymphatic capillaries to lymph nodes and from lymph nodes to lymphatic tract. So this is what they do to transport lymph from lymphatic capillaries to lymph nodes and then from lymph nodes to lymphatic trunk. Okay, then the lymphatic vessels which transfers lymph to the lymphatic node is called the afferent lymphatic vessels. So those lymphatic vessels that makes blood to enter into the lymph nodes or lymphatic nodes, those particular blood vessels are called afferent lymphatic vessels, while the one that transfers lymph from the lymph node to the lymphatic trunk is called efferent lymphatic vessels. So those which now take blood away from the lymphatic node or lymph nodes are now called efferent lymphatic vessels or efferent lymphatic vessels. Okay, 3 now we are looking at lymphatic trunk and duct. So we are saying lymphatic vessels join to form lymphatic trunk, which also join to form lymphatic duct. Okay, so we are saying the two major lymphatic duct are the right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. So now when these which are lymphatic tract, we are saying these lymphatic trunk here are formed when what? Lymphatic vessels join, and these also when they join they form the lymphatic duct. And then we are talking of the major now lymphatic duct. Okay, this one was supposed to be T, my bad, sorry. So now we are saying the major two lymphatic duct are the right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. So these are the major lymphatic tract. We have the right lymphatic duct and also thoracic lymphatic duct. Okay, so the right lymphatic duct drains lymph into the right subclavian vein, while the thoracic duct drains lymph into the left subclavian vein. Okay, so this here we are saying the right lymphatic duct here drains lymph into the right somewhere here, the right subclavian vein somewhere here, while this one, the thoracic duct, drains blood into the left subclavian vein somewhere here. So it drains lymph into the left subclavian vein somewhere here. That's where it takes. Okay, and then also these are the points where we are talking about. So this point here where we have the thoracic duct here which takes blood into the left subclavian vein here. So this is where the left subclavian vein here is. Okay, so we are saying entrance of thoracic duct into left subclavian vein somewhere here. Okay, then here we have entrance of right thoracic lymphatic duct into right subclavian vein here. Okay, then we are saying next is the thymus. Okay, we are saying this is a two elongated lobe found in the thoracic cavity. So it is found in the thoracic cavity, and this is the one. This is the thymus here. Okay, so we are saying it produces hormones as its function. Then next we look at the lymph nodes or lymphatic nodes. So these lymphatic nodes here are very important. We are saying these are small, round or oval structures located along the pathways of lymph vessels or lymphatic vessels. So these are small, round or oval structures located along the pathways of lymph vessels. Okay, then we are saying there are mainly three types of lymph nodes, namely we have what is known as axillary lymph nodes, which receive a lymph from the breast, then axilla and upper limb. Then next we have the inguinal lymph nodes, which receives lymph from the lower limb and upper pelvis. Then we have three, the cervical lymph nodes, which receives lymph from the head and the neck. So these are the ones here. So we have this one here, the cervical node. It receives lymph from the head and the neck. Then you have this one here, the axillary lymph nodes here, which receives a lymph from the upper body and the upper limb. Then you have this one here, the inguinal lymph nodes here, which receives lymph from the lower limb. Okay, so these are the parts, guys. Then okay, these are the ones. Okay, then here we are saying the function of the lymph nodes is to, number one, produce and store lymphocytes, which are added to the lymph as it passes through on its way to the subclavian vein. So now we are saying the functions of these lymph is to make sure that they produce and store lymphocytes. So these are white blood cells. So the function of these lymph nodes is to produce and store lymphocytes, which are added to the lymph. So as that lymph passes there, these add lymphocytes, and as it passes through on its way to the subclavian vein. So as that one, the lymph is passing, as it enters the lymph node, then lymphocytes are added to it. Okay, then the other function is to filter foreign bodies, bacteria and dead tissue from the lymph before it joins the blood. So they make sure that these lymph nodes, they clean the blood, they filter foreign bodies, any material which is not supposed to be in the body, it is filtered. So, and also bacteria and dead tissue from the lymph before it joins the blood. So that's what their function. Another function is to make sure that they become very active when the body is invaded or attacked by foreign bodies, becoming swollen and tender in the process. So these, they swell and they become soft whenever the body is attacked. Okay, so they participate in the fight against the infectious or infections. Okay, then the next thing is the spleen. Okay, so we are saying this is the largest lymphatic organ in the body, located in the abdomen. Okay, so this is it here. The spleen, actually, it is found behind the stomach. If you have seen the stomach of any animal that has been slaughtered, closer to that stomach there is a red substance which is found there, and like this one here, that is spleen. Okay, then we are saying the function of the spleen is to, one, initiate the immune system once antigens are found in blood. So when there are antigens which fights bacteria, so then this one will initiate or will start the defense mechanism of the body. Then number two, it act as a reservoir of blood. Okay, so it is also a reservoir, or that's where blood is also saved here. Then also destroys worn out blood cells. So those blood cells which are worn out, that must be destroyed here. Then also form blood cells in fetus. So in the womb, when the fetus is developing into a baby, the blood which it needs is formed in the spleen. Okay, now let's look at tonsils. Okay, or tonsils. So these are small groups of lymphatic cells located around the pharynx. Okay, they are located around the pharynx of the throat. Okay, so like here, if this is in the mouth, so if this is the body, the tonsil are here, and we have this one called the palatine tonsil here. Okay, so also you find that here we have this one here inside the mouth, and the other one there. Okay, so its function is to trap and remove bacteria and other foreign materials entering the pharynx in food and inhaled air. So they make sure that they trap and then remove bacteria and other foreign materials entering the pharynx in food and breathed in air. Okay, so now let's now look at a difference between tissue fluid, lymph, and the blood. So we are looking at the difference between tissue fluid, lymph, and the blood. Okay, so we will look at in terms of the structure. So this is the structure that we looked at earlier on when we explained how the lymphatic system works. So here, like, we have this red arterial here, or artery, carrying oxygen from the heart. So when oxygen now is transported, or when these arteries are transversing or moving along the body, they divide into smaller tubes which are called arterial capillary. Then these arterial capillary, they also divide further into venous capillaries, and here there are small capillaries here. So when we zoom out this, it looks like this when we zoom out. So here we have arterial, which is this part here. Then here now we have capillary. So as blood is moving here now, so what happens as it moves here is that this blood coming from the heart carries nutrients and also oxygen. So here, because the walls of the capillaries are very small, So this oxygen and nutrients, these are allowed to move out and come into these cells or body tissues, these ones which need them. So now that mixture of oxygen and nutrients is what is known as fluid. Okay, so now as the content of the blood continues in the blood vessels, it also reaches these capillaries like the arterial, which have got at least in large walls, large opening in the walls, such that now the nutrients and oxygen and also some blood cells can diffuse out to go into the tissues there. So now that blood now become that fluid becomes the lymph. Okay, so that's what it is here. So now this now is the lymphatic duct. So now during the returning process, any waste can either join the this route here, the blood capillary, so that it comes out through the vein, or it can also enter through the lymphatic duct here. So when it enters the lymphatic duct, then it can continue going back in that route. Okay, so the reason being that these lymphatic duct have got lymphatic capillary have got more large, a little bit bigger walls to allow the white blood cells and the dissolved nutrients such as glucose, fatty acids, and other things to go through them. Okay, so let's push this one up. Now, when it comes to some explanation, we are saying the main difference between tissue fluid, then lymph, and blood is that fluid tissue contains oxygen only and nutrients, but lymph contains nutrients, white blood cells, waste products, antigens, and hormones, while blood contains all the components found in tissue fluid and lymph. So here we have explained. So in tissue fluid, it will only contain oxygen and nutrients, but in the lymph there will be oxygen, there will be also nutrients, then there will be also white blood cells, there will be waste products, there will be antigens, there will be also hormones. Now blood itself now will contain all the components that are found in the lymph and also in the tissue or fluid tissue. So in short, blood is like a universal set. Okay, and then it's like the fluid tissue is a subset of the lymph. Okay, all right, now let's look at the importance of functions of the lymphatic system. So this lymphatic system that we have looked at, what are its importance of functions? So number one, it collects plasma and takes it back to the blood circulatory system. Remember, plasma is the lipid part of the body, so it collects plasma excuse me, and takes it back to the blood circulatory system. Then number two, it produces phagocytes and lymphocytes, which help to remove foreign particles and bacteria that enter the body. So these phagocytes and lymphocytes are the two types of white blood cell which helps to fight against the disease. So the lymphatic system now, it is the one that produces phagocytes and lymphocytes, which help to remove foreign particles and bacteria that enter the body. Then three, lymph transports fatty acids and glycerol from small intestines to the liver. Okay, so it helps in transportation of also nutrients like which one? Fatty acids and the glycerol from the small intestines to the liver. Then 4, it helps to remove waste products. Okay, at the same time it helps to distribute hormones and food nutrients. So yeah, just as we have spoken here, it also helps to remove waste products. At the same time, it helps to distribute hormones and the food nutrients. Okay, then the other function is that it drains excess tissue fluid and it takes it back to the blood. So any excess tissue fluid that mm, may be found in the cells, in the tissues, is drained back into the blood. Okay, so in conclusion, we are saying in lymphatic system, okay, in lymphatic system, lymph moves through the vessels by the contraction of the walls of the vessels, and lymph moves in one way or one direction, and direction, that is from the body tissue to the blood stream, and it is assisted by valves. So this is the thing that you need also to understand, that lymphatic system, in the lymphatic system, lymph moves from or through the vessels, okay, or called the lymphatic vessels, the lymphatic capillaries, the duct we talked about. Now, how do they move? By contraction of the walls of the vessels. So the movement is not caused like the way the heart pumps blood to move in the body. No, here there's no need for the heart to pump it. So it's just the contraction of the walls of the vessels which helps the lymph to move in one way, that is from the body tissue to the bloodstream, and this is assisted by valves. Okay, so guys, we have come to the end of the biology lesson. I hope you have learned and enjoyed this lesson. Until we meet again in the other lesson, as for now, bye.